my. Hold on one second. Coming in the thing and the do. Hold on. I think I have to use the regular pages today simply because. Where's my cursor? Where is it? There I am. Welcome to the show, everybody. Good morning. How are you? Let's do this. Hold on. I'll stop the music. Stop the music. How you doing? Good morning. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome. Thanks for joining me today. Carl was right out of the gate. I saw you right in the chat room as soon as it came up. It was lovely to see you. 84 in the chat like a year ago. Yeah, right when we start off, the numbers are pretty light. And then it grows and expands as people... Yeah. Did I sleep? A little bit. Chip still got me up, but I went to bed early last night because I was dragging ass last night. Summer got dinner. I was on Liberal Dan's show for a lot longer than I thought I was going to be on. But, that's the problem with loving the sound of your own voice. And when I was done, I was like, whoa, how long was I on? It was like 2 hours or something, and plus. And I thought it was originally scheduled for an hour. I felt like Donald Trump. I wanted to storm out of my Piers Morgan interview, and Summer had gotten dinner for us, and it was like I was almost like too exhausted to eat. Oh, thanks, Samantha. I appreciate you're enjoying my tweets this morning. I've been I get a wild hair up my ass occasionally about just the amount of ignorance in conversations. Like, I think it's totally cool that people have conversations. I think you can joke about any subject, you can openly discuss any subject, but if you're just leaving giant pieces of information out of it, that's the problem. It should be quiet, right? Oh, sorry, it started playing again. Why did it do that? Sorry, I didn't realize it. Ha. I don't know why it popped back on. I turned it off and then it brought itself back to life. Haunted soundtrack. What was that? Beg your pardon. Okay, so where was I? Yes. It's high tech. What can I say? Here's the thing. I normally do the morning show. I've been doing the morning show out in the living room, just at my in the sort of the TV room. I have a little desk in there that I put everything on, and I moved a computer out that I was using in here to run that because it needed a little more oomph, and I set it up and I'm like, okay, kind of ready to go. The morning show's not a lot of high tech stuff. I'm not throwing all my, Venmo-y things up necessarily and yada, yada. And everything needed an update. Yeah. And so I was like, all right, I was just coming here and do it. So I got to do that work after the show between now and then. So between now and Friday morning, essentially. So... You heard Roger Stone got the boot again? Oh, there's plenty of news to go around, kids. Holy smokes. Shall we jump right in? Let's see. Hold on one second. I want to look at these, the trendages. Today it's a good day for trending news. One would hope. Let's see. I need to look at this first. Make sure it works. There we go. Yeah, it'll work. Okay. These are, as we jump into this morning's Twitter trends, time to do a jingle. Gotta have a jingle made. Hey, just allow that to be filler. If I was a regular YouTube channel, there'd be like a big swath thing and a ukulele theme song. Might have to do that this afternoon too. We're gonna start adding a little bit of eye candy and fun to the production. So morning trends, like a good GMA logo. That'd be good. So, by the way, hi chat. there you are. Make a jingle. I agree. Please note Elon Musk trends. So sick of hearing his name. Twitter fitter. That's good. Started to read article. Need to finish it. Roger Stone got hired by Ontario, Canada political party for upcoming election. Oh, and then got kicked out again. Can he even go in the country? Is that what we're talking about? More ukulele. The Axel F theme. Yeah, Axel E theme. That would be good. Mr. Ahmal Axel. Foley is here to see his old acquaintance and cover this up, Donna. It's not sexy at all. It's not like an animal to scrub for the customer. No, it's not sexy at all. So these are your trends. Okay, we'll get to that in a minute. The draft was apparently all defensive and offensive line, like first round, no quarterbacks, blah, blah. I only know this stuff because my girlfriend is a huge Steelers fan, and so she's keeping an eye on it. Let's see why the Democratic Party is trending in California. How the White House Correspondents' Dinner broke the Democratic Party. Generation of operatives raised on the West Wing leveraged proximity to Barack Obama to make celebrity the end goal of public service. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah. Yeah, good Lord. First of all, the White House Correspondents' Dinner is, in fact, an act of celebrity around the White House correspondents. Secondarily, make celebrity the end goal of public service. So we're just going to ignore the Trump years entirely. We're just going to, reality TV host becomes president. We're just going to pretend that bullshit wasn't happening, that he didn't build a cult of personality. Unless that's where we're going. Elon Musk called the Democratic Party extremist, but forgot to incite an insurrection. Okay, I don't know what the gibberish is. My grandpa's Democratic versus the current. I will put a man on the moon. I'll put a man in the women's bathroom. What? May 2016. Joe Walsh. Good, gross. If okay, yeah. If MTG. So it's just basically once Democratic Party starts trending, it was largely because of this. I strongly supported Obama for president, but today's Democratic Party has been hijacked by extremists. I mean, the absurdity of, comparison to the Republican Party, but arguably the idea is that why should he care about the Republican Party because he isn't one, blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry, I'm just not going to jump through my shirt and panic about people like Elon Musk. It doesn't even chart. Seriously. Amber Turd, of course. Like the memes are off the chain right now. Nightmare on Amber Turd Street starring Johnny Depp. They've literally created a cartoon version of it. Because Johnny Depp, his debut was in Nightmare on Elm Street. He was killed early in the movie. By the way, the idea is that he was watching television with it on his lap, would be so prescient about people, I don't know, on tour in hotel rooms watching television on their iPad while on the bed next to them. Strange. Mr. Hanky finally gets called into question. What a big turd. I'm envied her. Okay, whatever. This one, this one's quite good. For the record. Hold on one second. Save. Okay. And then close that. I need to close that audio window in case it accidentally comes on again. This cartoon is amazing. So this is Johnny Depp as Edward Scissorhands, her with the Aquaman body on her, and I think they play the audio for I'm pretty sure this was on this morning while I was still getting up, and I didn't want to wake up Summer by turning this on. So
stupid fucking whore! So I'll just shut the fuck up! Oh.
By the way, that's his finger coming off.
Just shut the fuck up for good now, huh? Yeah, you fucking want that? Yeah? I don't. We are fucking over, you fucking dumbass! I hope that you choke on a piece of concrete and literally go to hell. I will see you in fucking hell. You fucking...
It's just so like... Oh, and then they asked, apparently this guy came to, somebody came to pick up Johnny Depp, and the lawyer was making the case that Johnny was peeing in one of the house plants. This is her lawyer's. I don't. The recapping on this is just insane. But the idea is that this guy, I haven't been watching the whole thing, but just like the highlight reels and some of the pickup. And please ease into that madness. Sorry, yeah, it was loud. Some of these are quieter than others, but they're interviewing a dude who was apparently picking him up, and they're like, was Mr. Depp was peeing in a house plant at that point? And the guy's like, well, you'll hear it. Hold on.
Depp was trying to urinate in the foyer, wasn't he? No.
That's the Mr. Depp was trying to urinate in the foyer. Is what this, he says foyer, but foyer, but and the guy goes, no. And then watch the follow up.
Depp was trying to urinate in the foyer, wasn't he? No. Mr. Depp had his penis out of his pants, didn't he? I think I would remember. Relevance. I'll know.
The guy's like, Mr. Depp had his penis out. Your objection, Your Honor, relevance. The other guy's, I think I would have noticed that.
Next question. And you were trying to get...
What the hell?
Get Mr. Depp out of the house, correct? Depp was trying to urinate in the foyer, wasn't he? No. Mr. Depp had his penis out of his pants, didn't he? I think I would remember. Relevance. I'll allow.
I'll allow it.
Next question. And you were trying to get Mr. Depp out of the house, correct? Depp was trying to urinate.
And he was trying to urinate in the foyer. You were, he had his penis out, and you were trying to get him out of the house. With his penis, were you trying to get his penis out of the house? I don't know. It's just so stupid. And this is Depp talking about what happened to his finger because he had a bandage on it. He was doing these visits while he was healing, and they weren't doing these things. And he was at a cancer ward dressed as Jack Sparrow, so he made up a story about what happened.
What happened to your finger?
My finger? I bruised it very badly. I ate it. I bit it off. I was starving. I was starving. I bit my finger. I ate it. The tip of it. Just a little.
I ate it. I was just a tip of it, really. Oh God, just and this was amazing. This is ridiculous. So Retro Gimmick made an Amber Turd action figure. And I don't know if you can see, but it's got her face in it. They 3D printed it. Just this is just come on. Because I initially, when I saw it, I was like, oh, they just took a like a piece of toy poop and made a joke and yada yada. And then I was like, I clicked on it. I was like, wait, what? Click thing. I don't know where what. Just come on. Yours is without a doubt the most regrettable bit I have ever pooped in, but you have pooped in it. I mean, this is just going to be an ongoing meme forever. And like I said, I tweeted this earlier today, but I was like, we live in a world right now where things are so, are polarized, and I don't know what that is. What that is. Where Amber Heard could literally sell chocolate turtles after this and make them, millions of dollars. It's just crazy. I mean, shit. Wait a minute. Rogan called her full of shit? Well, obviously she's not full. Sorry. Clearly she's, you know, she at the very least topped the tank off. Bashes Disney for booting Depp. You fucked up. On the blade. Who cares? You know, listen to the break. Yeah, that's the... And there's a picture of the turd. Like... Oh, God. Just this ongoing awful. What is happening? The fact that it's trending again. I mean, the whole thing is frigging brutal, but I think my favorite thing, like the weirdest clip, let's see if I can find it, is in court. They were talking about drug use and the fact that, you know, whether he used drugs and yada, yada. And it's like, it's well known. So it's, and the idea, by the way, that addicts in general are just because somebody drinks or just because somebody does drugs, that's an automatic, well, obviously they're a domestic abuser. Like I find it kind of gross that they're trying to make that instant distinction. It's not mutually exclusive, but it's not an automatic thing either. Oh, yeah. So I'll get to Cawthorn in a minute. We've seen this, the Kev strike. They struck these buildings. Morning show, so loading of probable caliber missiles on the Russian Kilo-class submarine in the Black Sea port of Russia-occupied Sevastopol, Crimea, Ukraine. Yeah, this is the idea that they're parked out here. They bring the missiles out, and this is right after the UN Secretary General was there. Like, these fuckers do not care. And there was this morning thing. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Where the Russian state media is just saying, hold on, Russia, see if I can find the morning video of it, but it's just gross. There's gotta be, where's this dude? Video, it'll be video. Let me look. I'm trying to Russian state media. Let's see. I mean, we have here's the thing. We have so much talk about how we have, you know, the right wing likes to say that MSNBC is state-run media, blah 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 blah. And they literally have it. And we talk about how, like, you know, Russia is talking about, let's see, and this is by recent, where is this? I'll find it. Where was it? This morning I might have already posted it. So, but I mean, there's a scary bunch of stuff about this, but at the same time, it is coordinated. Let's see. Like this, yeah, here it is. So Julie Davis posted this. This is pretty crazy. Let me see if the audio.
Были британские острова, нет?
The audio is not that important. Hold on. So they've got this. Basically, supposedly this dude is talking off the cuff, and on Russian state media, this is like one of their version of the 5. on Fox. They're always doing these roundtables where everybody just blathers. It's an amazing. Like, I guess they're trying to look as little like North Korean state news as possible, right? So this guy goes, we have one Sarmat missile, the Satan missile, and that's it, he says. You'll see. The British Isles are no more. But we are serious people. I'm saying that seriously. They're accusing us of state terrorism. UK also has nuclear weapons. No one will survive in this war. When you propose a strike with the Sarmat, do you understand that no one will survive? No one on the planet. We'll start with a blank slate. Never say never. Okay, so the idea, though, is since we're talking about these weapons, question is, can they shoot it down? So, okay, supposedly he's talking off the cuff. Like, I'm just, spitballing. Everybody's like, simmer down, buddy. And nobody could end it, a nuclear war is, nobody wins a nuclear war. They're trying to, like, pretend balance. Meanwhile, they immediately cut to this supercut of the Sarmat missile launch, and then they start talking about flight times, as if his bringing up flight times, which he does in a second, magically, you'll see, watch this. So supposedly he's just talking out of his ass. Their abilities are limited to shoot them down. Look at this. And she just starts rattling the flight time for nuclear missiles from Kaliningrad.
Интересует Лондон 202 секунды. Вот, я про это. Поэтому им эту картинку надо тоже показывать. Ребят, вот смотрите.
Yeah, see that graphic? These motherfuckers are showing this graphic on regular television. Can you imagine it much, fuck the United States doing this? If Canada did this, we'd be like, what the ever-loving fuck are you doing, Canada? If France and Germany were like, a couple of our nukes could... pull up the graph, Gary. And you're telling me I should worry about Elon Musk and Twitter? Seriously. We don't have a sliding scale of what's important in the world? Of course, Stargal, we would never do that. And yet, if you listen to the sort of, the pro-Russian propaganda outlets like Jimmy Dore and stuff, he thinks this is what we do all the time. That we're the bad guys in this situation. Meanwhile, on the this is a regular television show. This isn't like Alex Jones, the Russian version of Alex Jones or InfoWars. This is not some, far-right lunatic group that has a YouTube channel. This is state fucking television in prime time on Russian TV. Look at that. I mean, honestly, please, for a second, take that in for a fucking second. Absorb that for a second. Think about what it would take for fucking CBS or even Fox News, even Newsmax, for fuck's sake, to put up a graphic like this. We would shit a new hole in them today. Everybody would be like, what the fuck are you doing? First of all, just the loose talk about the obliteration of tens of millions of people. The only time you'll ever see a graphic like that in the United States, really, is in a movie like War Games, where our own art community, our own media is trying to show the world that nuclear war has no winners. War Games. Look at War Games. That's a War Games graphic. Now, I have no doubt that there is a comms room in the DOD that runs, these kind of games and shows these kind of things and where they are and tries to track this shit, because they have to. but putting it on fucking television. And look at the title of this, by the way, in general, these are all like flight times for nuclear missiles to all these major cities in Europe. Fucking hell. And then, guys, look at this picture, is what they're saying right there. Like, and the idea is, by the way, that this dickhead just went like, I don't know, why don't we, let's just spitball about this. They didn't spitball about it. He's teed up. They're supposed to go, now simmer down. But now that you mention it, they could actually hit it there. This is all coordinated, all of it. They met about this and went, okay, you say the thing about how fast these are, scare the living shit out of everybody. We'll act like we're the sane ones, but we'll throw up a graphic and everybody will know we're actually serious, or we'll get to scare the shit out of them with this potential. Fucking hell. Guys, look at this picture. Count the seconds. Can you make it? Count the seconds. Can you make it? Hello, it's already here. Count 200 seconds. That's how you talk to them. They don't understand anything else. Oh, 666 people in the chat right away. Thanks, Andrea. By the way, it's no surprise that the Russian Satan missile comes up and all of a sudden we have 666 people in my chat room. By the way, like and subscribe. Don't forget to share the show, spread it around. This is the morning show. It's different than the afternoon show. And we just kind of look through the morning trends and see what the stories that are popping up are and kind of get a grip on them. Honest to God, and Sano Tree, who we like, makes a really awesome point here. In response to this, it's a great point. The fact that they readily admit we're in the era of hypersonic missiles that can arrive in seconds undermine the idea that a nation which occupies 11 time zone somehow needs a buffer zone the size of Texas against NATO countries. There is no reason for them to give a shit whether NATO is in Poland with missiles or in fucking Ukraine. If it's a matter of seconds, it doesn't matter at all. Yeah. Could it be Satan? I think so. Yes, and exactly. Modern ICBM nukes can strike in seconds across the globe. The idea that there's a buffer zone is absurd. Now, here's where that's off. Let me explain. Is because the argument is that Russia's nukes don't actually work. They're garbage, but they're a great threat. And Russia wants to use the concept of mutual assured destruction. That's what these kind of propaganda things are about. The possibility of mutual assured destruction, the potential for nuclear war, because everybody's afraid of it, to allow them conventional war anywhere they fucking want. Because all they have to do is threaten everybody that they're going to pull the pin on nukes, and that's it. So they can just, you got to let us roll tanks in and murder people, because if you respond, we're going to respond with nukes. And you know, at one point there was this story that, you know, the Russians got nuclear technology because someone in the United States leaked it to them because they were afraid that it was too much power for one country to have, and that it would be better if Russia had this technology because mutual assured destruction was the only way to guarantee that the world would be safe, which is in line with sort of like the Alexander Nobel idea, because he created dynamite and he's like, it's a destructive force so terrible that it'll end war forever. Didn't quite work out that way. And what's ultimately happened is that Russia, because they have nukes, were allowed to enter Ukraine, were allowed to enter Chechnya, were allowed to enter Georgia, because nobody wanted to push it up to that level. And that's what they hang over everyone. What they've recognized is that mutual assured destruction is an umbrella under which they can basically carry out any conventional warfare they want to. Because they don't intend to use it, but they hope it will scare people from backing anybody that they're trying to kill. It's not going to work this time. Joyce says, I don't believe their nukes don't work. If I was Putin, I would not be so sure. It's been almost 30 years since the fall of the USSR. And before they got up on their feet with their system, I'm just saying malware is a real thing. Plus, he's been firing military commanders all over the place because a bunch of their shit doesn't work. Their tanks are rusted and all that kind of stuff because these guys have been stealing money from the military for the last 20 years because they don't expect to use the more important parts of it. The description I often use is that you work for a restaurant and you're planning on embezzling from the restaurant. Now you can take from the till, but somebody will spot you. You could steal and sell off some of the supplies. That's one of the ways that people do it. So, you sell a lot of coffee, you sell a lot of tea, a lot of sodas, you sell a lot of French fries, you sell a lot of burgers and buns. But there's a part, so you can't steal any of that stuff because a shortage will be noticed. But there's a part of the menu that you have 100% stock for, but you only ever have 20% of the orders for. So you can sell off 80% of the stock under the table to somebody, and the boss will never catch you. And anytime where there's a run on it, you go, well, today was just crazy. And they'll kind of write it off as a spike that you weren't expecting. And then there's a part of the menu that nobody ever orders. It just sits in the fucking freezer. Nobody orders this shit. Some people want it, just not here. So why don't we sell off the ingredients to, and the boss will never know. And that happens a lot. And it's not an epidemic, but if people do that kind of, selling stuff, the goods in a supply chain, the goods in, it happens all over in China. Like in China, it's rampant. It's fucked up how much it happens. If you deep six any aspect of the menu, somebody has already sold off all the ingredients. Okay? The nukes are the deep sixed, never used part of the menu. The tanks and airplanes are the 80-20 group. And the guns and rifles and uniforms and helmets and shit like that are the 100% of the time part of the menu. Okay? So a lot of his generals have not been repairing tanks. That's why they all have rusty barrels, why they look like shit when they, whenever they blow up a tank, they look at it and you could tell that it hasn't been maintained. Some of them, they keep saying they ran out of gas because of the supply lines. Well, that's a macho way for the Russians to say, well, we're really fighting a fight and they're blowing up supply lines and we're getting our stuff in there, but we're going to come around. We'll fix the supply lines. It's not the fucking supply lines. The engines are seizing up. That's not the same fucking thing. That's not a supply line problem, which they are also fucking up on. The gear is broken. The tires are rotten. The axles haven't been lubricated. They don't maintain anything because there's a certain group of these generals that didn't think he was going to do this. It was a fucking surprise. So 80% of their material in this war doesn't fucking work. I showed you guys a few days ago the rotten tanks, the unserviced tanks, the piles of obliterated ones that they use for fucking target practice for artillery that they've got parked in lines to make it look like from the air they've got a shit ton of tanks, but they don't. Is Rusty Barrels on YouTube? Yes. He's Rusty Rocket's next partner. Maybe that's what, maybe Russell Brand got a trip to, he got a view of the Russian nukes, and that's why he calls his thing Rusty Rockets. It's not a peace thing. Wouldn't it be nice if all my friends, if the rockets would just all rust in their chambers? Maybe they have in Russia. Anyways, and then the nuclear stuff is always there as a threat. You got to have a couple of them you can fire up into the air. They don't even have to go off. You're not even testing the nuclear part of it, just the accelerant. So that all the parts that make a nuke work don't even have to fucking function. Just like North Korea. That missile they flew up, the ICBM that crashed magically into the Sea of Japan, and they're like, oh my God, it's so close to Japan. Like, it fell out of the fucking sky. And you know, when we were testing nukes with Russia back in the day, we blew up huge chunks of fucking Nevada and Guam and all these islands, and they blew up the places in Siberia, and they'd show these giant mushroom clouds. Now everybody's just sending a rocket up and nothing happens because arguably they don't work. So anyways, if you are one of these Russian oligarchs who's been put in charge of the military and you're feathering your own nest and stealing money, where are you going to steal it from? Guns, bullets, uniforms, and helmets? No. You're going to take a little bit from the tanks, a little bit from the airplanes, a little bit from the Navy, you know, in terms of like the millions of dollars you have to spend on repairs and all that stuff is going to go in the books. It's going to right out the fucking door. And then the nuclear, arsenal is going to be underserviced. There are going to be a couple of them for show in case Putin wants to go take a peek. They're going to be very well polished, but rotten inside because you sold off, you know, a good portion of the parts, the things that are in it have a lot of other uses throughout the world. They're expensive. So, I mean, again, if you're going to steal, that's the tier you steal in. And it's no coincidence, that like the oligarchs in charge of this shit have started suiciding themselves. They're just dead. The nuclear stockpile is terrible, right? How do you know this to be true, says Raven King? Because I can read and because it is self-evident from what's actually happening on the battlefield. It's also self-evident from the fact that Vladimir Putin's salary is $146,000 a year. In rubles to US, I'm sure there's an exchange problem currently. I guess it's dropped to 80,000, and he's worth $200 billion. And he's the top. If he's stealing that much from the country, what the fuck do you think his buddies who run everything else are doing? And if they weren't doing that, the Russian tanks wouldn't be seizing up. They wouldn't be collapsing. They wouldn't have these giant corridors, of broken down supply chains. They would be winning. They've got more stuff, but they're not. They've got like their missiles have like a 35% trajectory hit ratio. That's like World War II long gun bullshit. When you couldn't even, pre-satellite, certainly pre-drone. That's their targeting. Now, partly they don't give a fuck. They're just fire. It's a terror campaign. But the other half is when they're trying to hit shit, they can't. They should be mopping the floor with the Ukrainian army just by sheer numbers, but they aren't. Why? Because their shit breaks down. Because their soldiers aren't trained. Well, why not? Where'd that money go? It's not like they don't have a defense budget. They spend a lot on military. And it's obviously not reaching the troops. It's obviously not reaching the gear. That's how I know it to be true. Fucking hell. Have you looked at the map of their invasion lately? It's embarrassing. That's why. America didn't win in Afghanistan. Russia didn't win in Afghanistan. So what? Nobody wins in Afghanistan. Everybody leaves. Afghanistan is not the graveyard of empires. Every empire that has tried to conquer it eventually gave up, not because they were overwhelmed by the attrition of the forces, is because somebody woke up and went, what the fuck are we fighting for? What's here that we want? You think the Roman Empire knew how to use lithium to make batteries? So they wanted part of it? You think like the opium trade was that important? Once ships got better and you could port a gas pipeline around the fucking place. Nobody cared. Ask China. They're going to try to BRI their way across Afghanistan. It'll be a mess too. It isn't worth it. It's dead land. It's like saying Death Valley is the graveyard of cities. Every time somebody builds a town in Death Valley, the desert wins. Like, fuck off. Everybody moves. It sucks. It's Big Pharma America made money on opioids. Yeah, but not from there. It's synthetic. They don't need poppies from fucking Afghanistan to make Oxycontin. That's why they're opioids, not opiates. It's a different in the language. They're about as related to, biochemically to opiates, in a natural sense as they are to Opie on the Andy Griffith show. Yes, Steve, you are correct that Afghanistan has lithium. Now, let's say you are you're a tech company in the United States who wants to make batteries in a new factory that Joe Biden has lovingly brought through the deals that his State Department is making and his Energy and Interior Department is making to Tennessee, where they're getting a brand new battery factory. Now, are you going to get your lithium from Afghanistan, or would you rather just get it from California? The Salton Sea, a shallow, landlocked, high saline body on the border of southern Riverside and northern Imperial counties, may be holding a giant key to the future. Researchers are working to understand how much lithium lies deep in the earth beneath the sea. The area is already home to 11 geothermal power plants, which pull up brine from a mile down, create steam, and spin turbines to create energy. That brine is also rich in lithium, which can be filtered out using special processes. We've been getting lithium from the Salton Sea for quite some time. And now we're going to set up facilities to just get the lithium. It's been a byproduct. This is even older, I think. Yeah. The Department of Energy is hosting a $4 million competition to advance technology and techniques to support lithium extraction from the geothermal brines in the Salton Sea. So this is actually a secondary one. Yeah. We don't need lithium from Afghanistan. We don't need opium from Afghanistan to make opioids. We don't, there's like so much of this stuff. The only reason we got it from anywhere else is because it was, cheaper and easier. Well, it's not cheaper and easier anymore. And some of it means that the deals we made with people who are bad people got worse. Those people got worse. The Saudis, the Russians, the Chinese have all gotten worse in the last 15 years. It was already like, well, we don't like doing this, but it's a balance back and forth between the well-being of our people and our economy and whether we could feed everybody and building, the government and social structure and infrastructure we want to build, that the cost of that versus it. And now it's just fucking cratered. I'm scrolling up to catch up with the chat because I'm sure it blazed ahead. Yes, fentanyl is synthetic. Exactly. You don't need opium to do it, to make it. As a matter of fact, even the cartels are dropping their relationships with Afghanistan in, simply because they can make fentanyl themselves. From, by the way, fentanyl precursors they buy from China, and some they ship from chemical plants in Arizona that sneak them the precursors. That's true. That's fun. Salt and sea. Whoops. Hi, buddy. What are you doing? Chip just walked in and started and grabbed my, hi, can my headphones. Hi, buddy. Come here. Come on, buddy. Oh, gosh. He's a big boy. He's a big boy. What are you doing? How's my boy? You okay? Chip says good morning. Did you say good morning? He's like, I just want a nap in your lap. Can you please stop this? Why do you have to do a morning show, Dad? I need to, and then he just lays down and turns over. What are you doing? Hi, buddy. It's a boy. It's a boy. It's a boy. Hi, buddy. How are you, buddy? You okay? Oh, that's some purring. That's good stuff. That's some purrs. Okay, here you go. Thanks, Phil. Why can't Molly do a cameo? Kaylin, because it's hard to catch her. She's skittish. She never comes in on her own. This guy does. Chud occasionally. Murphy makes noise outside the hall and I can go catch him. Molly, I can basically just... Yes, right, Foggy. He's showing me the way to uninterrupted sleep. Like, will you just please go lay down and go back to sleep? That is some good purring. It's good. How's my boy? How's my boy? He's such a good boy. Yes, you are. Mm-hmm. Is that good? Is that enough? Hi, buddy. Yeah? He's like... That right. That's the scratchy part. Now just let me go to sleep here, and then I'll play with. There's a wire, bat wire. I'm too tired. Yes, hi, buddy. It's a loud purr. Can you guys really hear it? Yeah, he was a foster fail. Chip is a boy. Chip is a boy. Chip is a... Oh, it's good stuff. Chin scratches. Getting chin scratches. Pardon me, folks. You just got to deal. When the cat shows up, you got to just... He did get big very fast. He's a big boy. He's a big kitty. He's a big kitty. He is a big kitty. He's a big kitty. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for the kisses. I appreciate it. Scratchy, 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 scratchy. Okay, you good? Was that good? No? You still want more? Okay. He's like, you need a bigger lap, Dad. Does he sleep like a praying mantis with his legs up? No, he has one arm. A lot of our cats like to sphinx. They put two legs forward and sit on their legs. He does one. He keeps one curled under his right. And I think it's to just so he can have one foot under in case he has to run. Because he's a tough guy. He's tough. He's a tough boy. He is. He's a tough guy. Just enjoy the purring. It's a good thing on a Friday, Yeah. I keep waiting for your Molly cameo. I know, Pauline. I'll try at some point. If I ever have her on the show, it'll probably be right out of the gate because I'm going to have to pick her up and bring her in here as the show starts. Because chasing her down in the middle of a show, yeah. And the couple of times we've had her on, Summer has brought her in and carried her in and handed her off, and she's still very skittish about that as well. But Molly, interestingly enough, for those of you who don't know, I have a rescue cat named Molly. She was feral, lived outside of our old house. We moved, gave instructions to the person who moved in for, how to, where to leave food for them and that kind of stuff for her and these 2 other cats that were there. She was gone for a while, disappeared. And then she showed up at the door with her in the backyard with her tail mangled, and she was dirty and skinny. Something awful had happened. She was covered in ticks, like ridiculous. And the girl who moved in called my girlfriend Summer and said, she's back over here and she doesn't look good. And so Summer went over there with one of our little traps and we got her, took her to the vet. They had to amputate half her tail. We picked the ticks off of her personally for like days. And she's still got she's got a couple of itchy spots on her that no doubt are from like dry skin caused by how many ticks she had. Poor thing. And eventually it took us a while. We had to keep her in the bathroom for weeks until she kind of normalized, till her tail healed. And what are you doing upside down, boy? He's turning upside down. More belly, Dad. And now she's lovely, but she's still, I think she either had, I don't know if her eyes are, she was malnourished or something. Her eyes aren't great, but she doesn't recognize you right away. And then sometimes she immediately recognizes you. It kind of comes and goes. But she comes up on the bed every night when Summer and I get in bed and expects pets from me. So she basically, I get in bed and before Summer gets in bed, she hops up into the bed, walks over and kind of lays next to me for pets. And then I pet her until she's done. And then she just gets up and runs away like, who are you? Yeah, Debbie, she didn't have mange. She just, it was an accident. Her tail was broken somehow. So, and she traveled a long way because we don't know where she went, but this is Vegas. There aren't a lot of ticks here. Oh, buddy, what you doing? He's just like rolling over for a belly scratch. What you want? Are you going to attack my hand now for, there you go. Hi, buddy. Do you just want to sleep? Is that what you're doing? I got to run the show. I have buttons I have to push. What are you doing? Oh, you're going after my, he's going after my mic cable or my headphones. What are you doing? Why are you attacking my headphones? Why are you doing it? Why are you don't get ouch. Why are you attacking my headphones? Why are you attacking my headphones? Why are you attacking? Arr, arr, arr. All right. Why are you attacking my headphones, silly? Huh? Yes, I love you. Are you ready to get down? You ready to get down? Okay. Ow. He's in my shirt. Okay. Oh my God, and I'm covered in hair. Life of a cat dad. Never ending. What are you doing? What's that? What you got? He just been knocking around. He just knocked a sticker off the desk, and then now he's batting it around like mine. Nope. Thank you. Ow! What are you attacking my foot for? Nope. Silly boy. Now he's like, he wants a snack. So this is pets and then hangry. Hold on a second. I won't be able to do the show. I'm going to have to put him out and close the door because it'll be a lot. He'll start attacking my foot. Hold on. Hey, you. Come here. Yes, I know. You're a good boy. But I can't give you a snack right now because I'm doing the show, but I'll do one in a little bit, okay? Thank you. Hang out. I feel like Fred Flintstone when I do that. He's lovely. He's a great cat. He's very clever. He plays fetch. He's very silly. He's like every cat. Sometimes he's a little too much, and that's great. That's how they should be. They're living beings. Yes, I was aware of that. Barbara. Yeah. Yep. I'm not ashamed. Cameos are why I watch during the day. Oh, good. Let's see. OnlyFans lint rolling. Yeah, I know. My lint roller's in the other room because I had to do it once already. Does he ever meow? Yeah, he has a pitiful meow. Like, because he knows he's waking me up. So he doesn't have a big, so Murphy won't stop talking. Murphy meows constantly. It's aggravating. Like, it's insane. He's a very talkative cat. Chud is next in line at 2 o'clock in the morning. She's like, where is everybody? Where is everybody? she just stands out in the middle of the kitchen floor and just howls for a minute and a half. Where is everybody? Where is everybody? Where is everybody? And then she goes back to bed. I need Temptations on my desk? No, because that would make it worse. And then she just goes back to sleep. It's a alley cat thing. And then, and cat lap bed. Is that a good thing, Carl? Is that a thing? What does it do? Does it Velcro to my pants leg and stay there? Yeah, I'll be doing the rally. Mixed with some other stuff. Can cats have dementia? Of course. All animals with brains can go crazy. Cats are all varying ages. Chud's currently the oldest. She's like 9. Everybody else is younger than that. Only a couple of years old. These are youngins for the most part. I paid for a Molly cameo, but I got refunded because you were too busy. I'm sorry, Pauline. Yeah, I wasn't home. Yeah, Pauline, in the time that you wanted me to do that, I wasn't here at the house to do it. When it was close to, like the last 3 days of it, and I hadn't seen it, so I didn't get a chance to do it. If you want to redo it, I will do it with her because I'm home now for the next few days. Sorry about that, but she just wasn't there. I couldn't do it. Yeah, I know. It's the cat hair. It gets on my nose and then it tickles. Yeah. Spots is 22. That's amazing. Cats have 80% of human emotions and prescribe practically all of our meds. That's amazing. Well, of course, projection is an amazing thing as far as emotions go. But they definitely do have lots of personalities. They have their own, clear personalities. So, yeah, we love our cats. That's all. All right, now, how am I doing on time? I'm good. We're just entering hour 2. It's a good time to do a reset. You're watching HAL Sparks Mornings Mega Worldwide. This is an extension show I do on the mornings. And we can sort of talk pet cats, be a little more philosophical and fuller in our conversation than when I have, video clips to get through. And if I break away for 25 minutes to explain the philosophy of economics on one particular idea, it would just make these videos so ridiculously long. There are, already sometimes, I've done 2-hour shows on a 20-minute video, depending on how many lies are in it. And it's exhausting sometimes. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's nice. Thanks, Tom Hebert. He's tweeting this. I'll get to the Cawthorn thing in a second. But HAL Sparks, affirming your views how Russia's grim demographics could thwart Putin's global ambitions. I've been talking about this for the better part of a year, along with, it mainly started with the Chinese demographics, and then that made me interested in everybody else's. And then folks like Peter Zion and a couple of the other bloggers that I follow that are were in China or are in China and moved out. And my feeling that, okay, I have to show you guys something. This is fucking mind blowing. Okay, we'll get to this in 1 second. I got to look this up though. Get out of here. Kind of pull this off as a screen and then go China. Let's find a. So the idea was that, and a lot of people have thought this, that China was going to hit peak population with the most people they're ever going to have, and then the population will start to decline. They were saying it was going to happen in about 2014, 2015. They were saying 2027, maybe 2030. We now know it happened already, more than likely in 2015. And this is, there you go. There you go. And this, let me show you this, because it was supposed to, their population was not supposed to decline for another decade, essentially. And whoops, look at this. Whoop. China's demographic crisis faster and bigger than thought. Now, I've been talking about, I went over there and did my travel show, and I was struck by something acute everywhere I went. That allegedly, I'm supposed to be just gutted with people everywhere I go. I was in a city that supposedly has a population of 35 million people. I went to the biggest shopping district down there on a Friday night, and I could put my arms out and not bump into anybody. I can't do that in Los Angeles. I can't do that in Times Square. I can't do that on most side streets in New York. And they only have a population in all 5 boroughs of about 7 million. So something was hinky. Something struck me as odd. And so I started talking to people about it, and I've come away with even the idea that they have more than 1 billion people is nonsense. I think the number's closer to 700 million tops. Some people are saying it's like they were like, it's 1.4. No, well, maybe it's 1.2. Maybe it's 1. Maybe it's 900. It's smaller than that, and it's getting smaller all the time. They've lost 17 million people to COVID, and they lied about it. They don't care. The flooding has just murdered thousands that just obviously could be tens of thousands. If the population density is anywhere close to what they said, some of this flooding murdered, could have killed, 100,000 people. All right. So, but this is the thing. January 2020, official statistics in China showed birth rates declining for a 3rd straight year, raising alarm among policy members attempting to avert one of the key long-term pitfalls of any growing country, getting old before getting rich. That long brewing demographic crisis with a shortage of young workers and surplus of retirees has exacerbated by decades of strict state mandated birth control. The 25 years of a one-child policy has made 50% less 25-year-olds. And you know what 25-year-olds do? They make babies. The imbalance has been, and by the way, even fewer than that, because they were sex selecting their abortions in a lot of cases because everybody wanted a boy. And just because you abort your female child does not mean you're going to be able to have another kid. It's not automatic. It doesn't mean that, all things will automatically go well. Like we're just going to swap one out 1-to-1. That doesn't always happen either. And you can't have a second. So that gap, that half of whatever that number is. The imbalance has been barely eased by reforms in the past few years. It hasn't been barely eased at all. I don't even know what their case is for that. Open link and new tab. Let's see. And needed baby boom. China gets a COVID baby bust. I guess if that's your idea of barely eased. Yeah, they were hoping to lock everybody in their homes and make babies. Maybe that's part of the lockdown theory. Doesn't work though. It's kind of kills your sex drive to go, let's raise a baby in a dystopian nightmare where we can be locked in our homes, welded in by a state worker. You want to get it on? Not really. But even a year ago, researchers still thought a key inflection point where China's population peaks and begins to shrink was a few years off, 7 to 10. The social study, for example, projected China's population will start to contract around 2027. Folks, do I know these numbers or do I know these numbers? I just grabbed this article, you know, because there's dozens of them that talk about this. But, okay. The latest Chinese census, which is completed in December, has yet to be made public, but is expected to report the total population of the country at less than 1.4 billion, according to people familiar with the research. A lot less, but they're lying. In 2019, China's population was reported to have exceeded the 1.4 billion mark. That was puffery, too. The people cautioned, however, that the figure was considered very sensitive and would not be released until multiple government departments had reached a consensus on the data and its implications. Okay. The demographics are such, let's see. Let me find this. China overcounting 18 to 45-year-olds. So, it's the same article. Hold on one second. I gotta find the hold on. There's so many articles. Maybe it's in this one. China's demographic manipulation. There we go. This is this is August of last year. This might have it in there. Officially, China's demographic situation is nothing to be alarmed about. 2020 census showed that China's population reached the expected level of 1.4 people in 2020 and continues to grow. And yet, less than a month after the census release, Chinese authorities announced the loosening of family planning rules so households could have 3 children rather than 2. They also now put forward a more, I'm not subscribing. A more comprehensive plan for boosting the fertility rate. They've also outlawed girly men. This is the kind of thing these policy moves suggest China's demographic structure is actually much worse than authorities would lead you to believe. What? Their numbers are off? Get out of town. Let's see. One of the ways you can tell is school enrollment. And not a lot of China's populace is as educated as people think. Because of the ginormous number of people that are allegedly there, a good third of them are super educated, are very well-to-do, which is, because there's so many, it's the entire population of the United States, right? It's like the number for why people panic about, extreme jihadis in the Middle East, because between Iraq, Afghanistan, Yemen, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the UAE, if you poll the people there, the extremists who believe, in nuke America for Muhammad, there's enough of them that equals double the population of the entire United States. That's where the panic comes from. Percentage-wise of Muslims, it's relatively small. But since that's such a large group of people, even at that level, it's enormous. Okay. That's where, again, percentage number is very important, and so is the baseline. So I hope you guys are interested in this because I find it fascinating. I want to see if they were... Yeah. So from 2004, this is... Okay. China supposedly had 104 million first graders from 2004 to 2009. This was consistent with the 105 million births they listed from 1998 to 2003. So these kids born then would be in first grade from 2004 to 2009. Yet there were only 84 million people aged 7 to 12 registered in the mandatory Hugo system in 2010, and only 86 million ninth graders registered in 2012 to 2017. So unless they lost 20 million 9-year-olds. Let me say that again. 20 million 9-year-olds have vanished from the earth last year. or in this case in 2017. So this is 4 years ago. They're still running this. This happened. This is true in stacks. So this number, they've got even fewer. 20 million 9-year-olds disappeared between 2009 and 2017, all at once. They admitted recently to overcounting the number of 18 to 45 year olds by 139 million. All the people that get married, have babies, start businesses, that age group, 138 million of them don't exist, never did, or died, one or the other. Stargal, it says they disappeared or just a miscount. I would say it's puffed numbers because, if you're getting, it's kind of like, think about it like gerrymandering of districts in the United States, that some people will, if they could fudge the census numbers to make it look like they had more people, they could create 2 districts instead of 1. So a political party might, if they could manipulate the census, they could make it look like there were more people in an area and get, 2 of their party's districts. Think of that on a giant statewide scale. Now, that's China with still enough people. Even if China has the lowest possible number of people in it that I'm talking about, most of them live in the east side of the country. Like the Shanghai, Beijing, Nanjing, down into Guangzhou, Shenzhen, into Hong Kong area. That's where 90% of the population practically lives. And the rest of it's a lot of desert and empty, unarable land. It's crap. So kind of like Russia, everybody's in the west of Russia, towards the European side, because that's where all the fun is. And Siberia is kind of nothing. The Xinjiang region and those kind of things, it's rough, right? It's very much like Afghanistan, and it's, what it's like. So even still, if they had 2/3 of the number of people that they say they have, they've still got double the population of the United States and a lot of options as far as, industrial infrastructure, basically. The problem is they don't know how to use it. That's another conversation. That amazes everybody when I talk about it, but I can't believe that's the problem with stealing most of your technology, in all honesty. From a governmental level, they just decide to steal it. So they didn't build any R&D people. And they also discourage individual thought. So there goes your tech creativity, because anybody comes up with a new way of doing things, it scares the shit out of Xi Jinping and his buddies. So they squash them. So why would you? Anyways, okay, here we go. The Russian army's strangely stumble-footed invasion of Ukraine, that's one way of looking at it, is only the latest reminder of the pervasive and long-standing human resource woes that frustrate Vladimir Putin's aspiration for superpower status. Russian military tactics and field performance may improve, but the greater demographic constraints on Putin's ambitions are unforgiving. In the coming years, those constraints will brutally ratchet down the Kremlin's options. This is the Washington Post today. When did this article come out? Yeah, today at 8 a.m. Have you heard anything from the Washington Post about this shit till now? They may have written about it, but I haven't seen any articles about this. And who's been talking about this shit for months? Son of a bitch. Next thing you know, there's going to be an article in the Washington Post that says, there is no Hunter Biden laptop. Everybody wants to be like HAL. Is there a political reason to under or over count? K-Link says, like here. Yes, very important. So in China, the reason for overcounting is because one of the ways you scare off the rest of the world from fucking with you is you have lots of people. That if you go, we don't even have to nuke you. We get enough boats. If we commandeer all of our shipping industry, all the cargo boats, and just hand a gun to every one of our citizens and say, go kill, we could drop them off in any country on earth. And we have so many people, even if half of them die, each person in the United States would have 3 Chinese people to murder them. That's the thing. That's what they've always kind of used as this thing. It's like, we have so many fucking people that if you fuck with us, we could just turn them loose. Our army's enormous. It's bigger than all your whatever industry. Now, we now know, of course, Russia has a bigger army than Ukraine. That doesn't exactly work out that way, but it's been part of the tactic in talking about it. The other reason is because India really does have 1 billion people. And India is fighting with China over water. And if China admits they've got 600 million people and India has 1 billion, now there's 2 Indian soldiers, maybe 3 for every Chinese soldier. Whoa, Tibet's free now. The disputed territories get overrun. End of fucking story. So China puffs its numbers to kind of keep that scariness up. It also has helped them economically in this idea that we've got lots of cheap labor, bring your industry. We've got lots of people who want to work, lots of people ready. And they don't. And it turns out they didn't. And that's why the cost of Chinese labor has grown exorbitantly in the last 10 years, because they don't have that many people that can work. And they don't have that many skilled laborers. They're running out of fucking farmers. The other issue with inflating or deflating your numbers too is you can manipulate your currency that way. But that's a huge other conversation, because how many dollars you have out in circulation based on how many people actually use it inside your own country versus outside the country is also another conversation. Hold on. Before I get more into this, I'm checking the chat. Yeah. By the way, yes, hit the like. My hands are huge. Oh, it's a perspective trick. And I still have lint on myself or whatever. Yep, that's been a scare tactic in Australia for the past 30 years. That's exactly right, Melissa, especially with Australia, because you're like, their army is bigger than the whole fucking population. We heard so many times when I was in China, the reference they always used for the population of Chongqing, which is the city I went to, where, it was the capital of China from like 1941 to 44, about that, because they'd been driven back by the by the Japanese rather, and that the Americans, our pilots freed Chongqing from the Japanese. Then there's statues of American pilots there because of that. Big brass statues, lovely. Or bronze, sorry. Anyways, when I was there, the reference they always used about the size of the country was, it's 35 million people. It's bigger than the population of Australia. As a matter of fact, I've repeated it because that's how they always referred to it. Trevor Noah said on the Daily Show that we left $7 billion worth of military equipment in Afghanistan. U.S. says more unusable, but still required maintenance the Taliban can't do. Can't they Google? Yeah, and by the way, we left most of that $7 billion was for the Afghan military to use. They just didn't use it. And again, we didn't leave a single jet there. We didn't leave a single attack helicopter. Everything was support vehicles. Yes, thumbs up, everybody. Thanks for reminding everybody, Bendy Loco. So the shipping cost for shipping out exports is added twice in China's GDP because it's 100% subsidized by the government. Businesses submit their export shipping costs receipts for refunds. Yes. And then sometimes they don't get them, which is a big problem with corruption locally. They shuffle it around. That to get shipping contracts, guys will give half of their shipping cost refund from the government to the local government, and half of that goes up to back to the CCP. It's so fucked up, man. We took all the nuts and bolts. Yeah, I walked around with a magnet getting there. Okay, so let me show you this real quick. With vast territory and abundant mineral reserves, questionable. The world is a giant mineral reserve, for fuck's sake. It's about getting to it. And if your ground is permafrost 80% of the fucking year, you know how miserable it is to work in oil rigs? There are oil rigs in Los Angeles. On your way to the airport, you can pass them. Would you rather work in an oil rig like that, or even one off the shore of California or off the shore of Japan or Guam or something like that as a worker, or in the Gulf of New Mexico or anything like Gulf of Mexico or any of that stuff, would you rather work there or in Siberia? All things being equal, as a skilled laborer, which they all have to be. That's some scary shit. Something goes sideways, the whole thing blows up. Everybody has to have has a crucial job. All right. The wealth of modern nations is overwhelmingly generated by human beings and their capabilities, which is why we're not on a gold standard, because pretty rocks are fucking stupid. Natural resources, land, energy, and all the rest have accounted for a shrinking share of global output for the past 2 centuries with no end in sight. The power structure that has guided the world, from the Saudis to the Russians to arguably, I would go Qatar to some degree, the UAE definitely, that has manipulated the rest of the world, and Venezuela was hoping for a slice of, is tanking. Meanwhile, intellectual property, invention, technology, growth industries, transportation, the kind of stuff that isn't under your feet, you have to think it up, it's between your ears, is the growth industry of the future. Has been since the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, but it's quickening. Thus, for all its vaunted oil and gas riches, Russia's export earnings last year were actually lower than Belgium's. Like other Western democracy, Belgium manages to augment and unlock the economic value residing in human beings. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of the financial stuff that happens that flows through there, so that weights it in a different direction, but still. When Putin does pay attention to demography, he obsesses over head counts. For him, capitas are more important than per capitas. He fixates on raising birth rates, seizing neighboring territory, instead of enhancing the capabilities and productivity of his entire population. You think? Again, what did I fucking say? Russia's depopulating. Even after Putin's annexation of Crimea in 2014, its total numbers are lower today than when the Soviet Union collapsed. Russia's working age population and its pool of prospective 18-year-old conscripts are also falling. Shrinking societies can prosper, as Germany and Japan have shown. Kremlin policies all but preclude that path for Russia because they don't make anything. They just dig shit up and sell it. And not because they can't. It's not because there's not an ingenuity in the Russian people. Look at their space program. Look at their technological advancements when they were in the nuclear race. It's just they only do it when they're challenged by somebody else, and it has to be a life or death thing. It is not that Russia lacks talent. No, it's almost like I'm predicting the article as we go by. Enterprising, impressive people, as anyone who spent time there knows. I've never been there, but I take your word for it. Nor does it suffer shortage of formal education. It's debatable. According to one major global assessment, mean years of schooling for Russia's age 15 to 64 population were comparable with 2015 levels in Denmark, France and Sweden, as well as above those in Austria and New Zealand. The problem is that Russia has somehow managed to create a high education, low human capital society. How do you fuck that up? Educate a shit ton of your people and then put them to work turning screws, essentially, is the idea. You got a bunch of doctors over there, pumping gas. The syndrome is evident under the Soviets, but is even more acute under Putin's malign rule. Fucking hell. 2019, according to the World Health Organization, overall life expectancy at age 15 was lower than in Sudan or Bhutan, places designated by the United Nations as the least developed countries. But, at least he's got a strong leader. Like, I want you to, when I read this stuff, I want you to hold in context, if you can, everything you heard. This is 2019. Anything Trump said about, at least they've got a strong leader. They know what they're doing. He's sharp as a tack. These are smart people. He's very clever. But think what it would mean to think this is fucking clever. This is a easily recognizable recipe for disaster. Urbanization increases human productivity, bringing development gains all over the world, but somehow Russia's ratio of city dwellers to the general population has stagnated for decades because it's only like 4 major cities in the whole fucking country, and it spreads out over a giant land. It's one of the biggest countries, the biggest country in the world. It has 4 major cities. The fuck is happening there? In shrinking societies such as Germany and Japan, by contrast, both urban population and urbanization ratios have risen. That's because they've got dozens of amazingly big cities, and they're all lovely. Despite Russia's large and formidable cadre of highly educated working-age men and women, commercially valuable knowledge production appears to be marginal today, according to the UN, World Intellectual Property Organization. Again, the best mind is between your ears, people. Russia accounted for less than 0.5% of international patent applications in 2019. Motherfucker, these were the people we were in the space race with. Think about that for a second. Think about what we all heard about them and their technological advancement, their military intelligence, all during the 80s. 0.5% of international patent applications in 2019. Christ almighty. Russia's patent yield, international patent applications divided by working age population, was far below South Africa's. Far below. Shit. Russia's record of creating value out of its human resources is miserable. It has the world's 9th largest population, but its exports of commercial services, marketed knowledge and skills, such as banking, insurance, rank 26th behind Thailand and Turkey. You are more apt to buy insurance from an insurance firm that is started in Thailand than Russia. Now, trust is a big part of that, and they have a trust ratio that is fucked and will keep them out of those industries even if they had smart products available. Because look at their, like, I don't know, cybersecurity anti-malware software, the Kaspersky stuff. Nobody uses that shit. Doesn't mean it's not well constructed by very smart people. It's just well constructed by very smart people to steal your shit. So they could have all the creative minds in their entire country working full steam, but I'm like, I'm not getting in that fucking car. At what point does the coolant go down and suddenly it releases a pathogen in through the atmosphere and suffocate you? This is a new patent window we've created. It's fully efficient, has solar film on it that takes in energy, can power entire building. And anyone who's talked shit about Putin, it automatically opens and has a little sliding chunk of floor. All right, piss off. National wealth is indispensable to state power and human well-being, but the Russian system produces remarkably little private wealth, according to credit. Oh, no. There's a lot of fucking private wealth. It's just in the hands of almost no one. We always talk about the 1% over here. Like, fucking please. The average Russian makes $9,000 a year. The average, American household. The American households make $58,000 to $64,000 on average. According to Credit Suisse, let me put it this way. Every single person in Russia, but for like the oligarchs themselves, their immediate families, and the people on television, and this include and I mean even upper heads of the military, would qualify for food stamps in the United States. Everyone. Total private wealth in Russia in 2020 was $3 trillion, 1/9 of Japan. By the way, the bank accounts of the lower 50% of Americans have increased by $3 trillion in the last 10 years. The net worth of the bottom 50% of the American wealth percentile has gone up, specifically that number, $3 trillion in the last 10 years. 1/9 of Japan's, 1/6 of Germany's, and scarcely more than Sweden's, a country of a population 14 times smaller. Which means your population can be 14 times smaller and make a lot of cool shit and do very well. So population isn't the be-all end-all, but when they dig holes for a living, Yeah. Anyways, it's nice being right. Oops. Let's go this over here. Hi, everybody. Oh, Philip. Hey, Philip. I'm on a different computer because the other one had to be updated, so I can't pull you in today. But maybe you can be on the radio tomorrow if you want to come on. That'd be great. Hi, Sarah. Yeah, everybody's saying hi for a second. Thank you. I'll have to cut out for an ultrasound. Okay, well, good luck. Be healthy and well. If Hal's covering the rally nights, I mean 2 shows or 1 long show or a late show. Basically, I'm going to start at my regular time, and then I think he starts at 4 my time. So I'll do a regular show up till that starts and then continue on, if that works for everybody. It's so nice seeing everybody sending their lerv to Phil. So that's lovely. Hold on, let me drag this out a little bit so I can fill the screen. Need quality. Does that sound about right? Yeah. 970 people in the chat alone. That's not even just the viewers who are sitting at home who don't chat, and I don't blame you. Hi. Hi, everyone. Hello. And that's just on one site, for the record. I'm on 4 sites. I'm on Facebook. Bless you guys at Facebook. Sorry about all the weird stuff about... They're doing a lot of weird shit over there as far as like botting chat groups and getting rid of accounts and bouncing people, and I have no control over it. Eastern time? Oh, that's a great idea. So I'm on at 6 p.m. Eastern time regularly. Thursdays, I'm on at 7. And then tomorrow's radio show, Eastern time, I will be on at noon Eastern time. Yeah, I saw that the Lviv was bombed. Yeah. It looked like a long-range artillery strike or a dumb missile. What was that? Who's that? Who's that? Oh my gosh. Who is there? Who here? Hold on, there's a cat outside the door. 1 second. Who is it? Who is it? It's Chud. Hi, Chud. What are you doing? What are you doing? Hello, my doll. How are you? Chud wanted to come in and say hi to everybody. There she is. Hi, Chud. Here's Chudley. Here's Chud. Hey, Wheezy. How you doing? You good? Yeah. Well, that's good. Is that good? Is that good? Yeah. Chud is, yeah, she's a proper cat. She's also, my theory is she's a badger. I think I got suckered by a badger into thinking it's a house cat. I'm kidding, Chud. You're just a whole lot of woman. Mama Chud. Okay, hold on. Let me move you around. Oh, you got the, yeah, your claw. Ow, thank you. Thanks very much. Oh, and the hair. Hi, baby. How you doing? Yeah, you can just lay down there. You're fine. I need a bigger lap for her too. Tail on my face. Thanks very much. Thanks, Chud. That's great. Thank you. Thanks very much, Catbutt. Thank you, Catbutt. I'm not offended. I'm just, yeah. Yeah. I think she's half pigeon. If you listen to her purr, listen. She kind of goes. You hear that? It's like she swallowed a bird a long time ago, and it just got stuck like a dove. Exactly. Hi. Yeah. How's my girl? It's a cat morning. Maybe Molly will come down after this. Maybe we'll get lucky. I doubt it. Chud just decided she needed to talk. You okay? Yeah? I know you got breakfast. I had to give her breakfast personally and keep it separate because she's got to take glucosamine for her joints because she's an old lady. She's an old lady. It sounds like a tribble. Don't listen, Chud. Yeah. She's wheezy. She's a short nose, so she's got to deal with this stuff. Hold on. Oh, gosh. How you doing? Did you want to say hi? Hello. She's so Garfield. Like, her face is so like, whatever. I don't need this. She's not quite a senior citizen. She's still sprier than you think. Why is her name Chud? Because she lived under my house, and it took me 2 years to coax her out, and I named her after cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers because I could see her eyes under the house all the time, and she shared the crawl space under the house with a family of possums, and she does hate Mondays and loves lasagna, but she had. Like, sometimes I would look under there to see if I could see her. I'm like, oh, there she is. I'm like, no, that's a possum. Yikes. And then I would jump back. Yeah. Good. Hi. She walks over to you while you're, like, if you sit down on the couch, she'll come over to you on the couch and just, like, put a single paw on you. Like, you do realize it's time to pet me. You are aware of this. Are you not? Right about the graphics card, you were talking about deflation a few months. Right, Pierre, did I tell you? You were right about graphics cards when you were talking about deflation a few months ago. Look. Okay, Chud, I know you're getting uncomfortable with sitting up like this. Hold on. Oh, and here comes Chip for round 2. No, hi guys. Hi, how are you? Be nice. I gotta, wait, hold on. Bow, chicka, wow, wow, chicka, chicka, wow, chicka, wow. Hello, ladies. Wow, 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 wow. This is I told you, this is my OnlyFans. Just a guy like flexing and just lint rolling himself with cat hair. It is a video clip. So, it is. I'm telling you, there's money to be made there. Okay. I'm just like, do this picture of me like laying on a bed. You can't quite see what's going on. I'm like, hello, ladies. I have a Chip and Hal, right? with Chip. Just me with a little bow tie on and dressed in all black, like a black bodysuit that's just covered in cat fur. Oh God. Yeah, I have to use it. This is the kind you get for like fucking furniture. Bearskin rug, right? Whipped cream. That's right. And then the cat comes in and goes, and starts licking the whipped cream out of your navel, and then goes, and bites you, and you're like, hey, God damn it. I'm gonna save it for my ASMR channel. That's right. That's my sound, just kind of like, what are you listening to? Is this dude, I can lint rolling his pecs. Oh my God. So fucking hot. All right. Anyways, the fun we have. All right. We got to get to this whole Madison Cawthorn thing, though. We have to look at this because this is just fucking nuts. So, Madison Cawthorn comes out with this whole, a couple of days ago, comes out with this, it's a couple of weeks ago now, that he keeps getting invited to coke orgies and by Republicans, the the guys who put I guess the G next to the L and the B into GOP. So some people filed an ethics complaint against them. There's a bunch of yada yada. And then these stories came out. Now I have this is the I found it. This is the picture. Chip is like clawing under the door. This is the picture that came out. And he was like, in drag and whatever with all these girls and yada yada. Okay. That in and of itself is nothing, I gotta say, because I myself have, done drag on my old TV show. Sometimes you're just messing around and having fun. It's not that big a deal, yada, yada. But if it's a chain of things, then people start to ask questions, right? And if you're anti-gay, this is just particularly ironic. And he's been very, harsh about that stuff. Now, he's been more harsh about the T, as it were, than the L and the G and the B, and especially the G and the B. And that's kind of telling, right? Because there's some LGBs that don't like the T's either. And so they're, it's almost like you're allowed. Okay. But even still, he's supposed to be a religious conservative maggot, Trumper. So this comes out and everybody's like, it's more like a gotcha. Like, but they're all these girls in it having fun and they're drinking and college stuff and whatever. Nobody cares. Really. Until a little bit later, it just scrolled back up. What happened? Because everybody's doing this stuff. This, where'd it go again? I hate everybody doing this. Okay. The Daily Mail has gotten a hold of this, and I don't know why the Daily Mail, but whatever. Cawthorning is now a word. To lie about one's qualifications, fail out of school, and be a sexual predator while also being a Nazi sympathizer, and also possibly being being closeted while this and using that as cover. Okay, so let's start. I'm trying to start an order, and it's all over the place. So this video came out of his assistant touching his crotch and laughing about it. Let me look for videos of this, because this popped up today. This business.
I would like to see it be filled with passion and desire. Would like to see a naked body beneath my hands.
Me too. I'd like to do that as well.
Be filled with passion and desire. Would like to see a naked body beneath my hands.
Me too. I'd like to do that as well.
So, now, many of you may or may not know that beyond the fact that I played a gay character, I have a friend who is not gay, but was accused of being gay by an extended family member in a really crazy QAnon kind of a level, like that they're sneaking away and participating in all kinds of, biker bar stuff. And it's just silly. It's just an absurdity. And again, if you are, no big deal, but it's very out of the blue. And it was meant to be manipulative in the family and all this kind of stuff. So he and I have a running joke that he better not dare or I'll get jealous. And we make believe, in groups of friends that we're a couple as a gag on occasion, like single jokes here and there in relation to that person who is making up this story to be mean, manipulative, and whatnot. It's I would argue harmless fun. So I have, and no one is being hypocritical or hidden or mean-spirited about any of it, except I would argue that we're both being mean-spirited towards this asshole who is trying to turn the idea of being gay into a weapon, and also lying about his behavior to try and manipulate other people. It's awful. So we do that joke as a regular thing. So but in doing that, I have to say that at no point did I touch my friend's crotch while making these jokes. That would be a line that I think would be beyond the scope of the joke, right? To actually do that. It's like an uncomfortable line that your friend would, I mean, your friend didn't necessarily, even joking about that kind of stuff, joking about being sexually interested in someone does not give them permission to just physically grab you. That's a little Trump for me, gay or straight, right? And so that's what makes this stand out, I think, to a lot of people, is that
like to see a naked body beneath my house.
They might be joking about a person in particular.
Me too. Yeah.
And he's being genuine. And then, apparently that's okay. So then comes out this, in relation to that business, where he's punching trees and whatnot, is that this is them smoking cigars together, and their arms are touching and they're sitting very close. And as partner photos go, I've seen enough of them to go, that, makes sense. And again, just be out. Nobody gives a goddamn. Whatever. So then these Venmos show up, and these seem like jokes to me by themselves, but increasingly in context. Yeah. They're like jokes that aren't jokes. Does that make sense? So that, in and of itself is why this is becoming a bigger, it's growing. And a lot of people are starting to think that the reason that this stuff is coming out is because he started tattletaling on the coke orgies. And so the people that do participate in them in the Republican Party are now just going, this guy's got to go. We got to get him outside. He can't have access. He can't say this stuff. If he can say this stuff on the floor, he's in big trouble. And then he got busted carrying, he brought a gun through the airport security again. Some guys watch straight porn with mutual handjobs, but will swear they're straight. Huh? Do they though? What did Freud say about cigars? I prefer what Carlin said about it, but the coke orgy Illuminati, right? Yeah, not gay. Just brothers having sex. Just bros having sex with each other. Yeah, right. That's the Roy Cohn thing. Is that quote from Roy Cohn in Angels in America or whatever that was, where he goes, people do not, will not think that Roy Cohn is gay. Or people don't think Roy Cohn is gay. People know that Roy Cohn is a straight man who fucks boys. That was his quote. Which, and by the way, that was Trump's dream lawyer. Let's see, latest. Bots, dear bots. Meanwhile, what Madison Cawthorn doing? Venmo? Oh, the Venmo messages. She's replying to some. I've regained 43,000 followers since coordinated assault against me in my reelection. Yeah, there's a lot of bots. That's true. You hear that? That's Chud. Is anybody home? Is anybody home? Right. So, I mean, this is a curious thing to talk about and find the language for when you want to recognize that people can be who they are, that if people are into cross-dressing sexually, if that as long as that stuff they do in their private life, none of my goddamn business. I don't care. One of the things about like Glenn Greenwald being like a Nazi sympathizing porn producer at one point, He produced a bunch of gay porn, directed it, and then was apparently wanted to be called Dom Heer, like dominating Heer, which is like, just German language and stuff, and a lot of German dress up in his stuff. Like, that doesn't really matter. I don't give a shit if somebody does that in their own personal life. But if it informs or contradicts what they're saying in the world in a way that affects other people, then it should be, then it has to be called out. Right. Yeah, people are responding to that part of it. So the latest part of it. Does that make sense? Uh-oh. Oh, all right. That's a relation to something else. This guy's cartoon. Florida government said he was young. You could watch cartoons without having to worry about. Well, speaking in Los, you could watch cartoons without having to worry. Do you worry while you're watching cartoons? Who the fuck will? First of all, my kid doesn't worry when he watches. What the fuck? This is in reference, no doubt, to the Elon Musk thing. Oh, and this bullshit Ministry of Truth nonsense, which doesn't exist, by the way. Florida Governor DeSantis vows to fight Biden's Ministry of Truth. Yeah, in quotes. These assholes, including her, like this is like her on their. What? Oh, by the way, this is what I was talking about earlier. So the DHS is setting up a thing to push back against misinfo and disinfo from Russia coming into the next election about vaccines, all that kind of stuff, because it undermines public safety. You can be an American dumbass and talk all you want, but if there's a coordinated assault of information from outside the country, that will be their purview. That's part of their job, and it's okay that they do it. It's not going to dictate what's right and wrong on news or any of that kind of stuff. It's really just a response team, like the ransomware response team. So the only people it would make nervous, arguably, are people who are funded by that very distinctly and fear that when the DHS starts looking under certain rocks, they're going to find them crawling underneath it, or people who use that as support, all these bots that carry this bullshit. We are moving more and more while Russia and China insulate their entire internet from the rest of the world. What America and other Western countries are going to do are push for areas wherein on social media you validate who people are. Because if it's going to be the town square at some point, there's a difference between the digital town square and the real town square, is that in the real town square, if you're walking around in a mask faking a voice, people will notice. But online, if Joe from Ohio says something, people just assume it's Joe from Ohio until told differently.
How do you feel about the Ministry of Truth?
There isn't one. The title is stupid. It's like the same assholes who are saying Ministry of Truth say regime instead of administration for the Biden administration.
This is the kind of thing that you see in dictatorships, this Ministry of Truth, this Department of Propaganda.
They don't have either. It's not a Department of Propaganda. It's not a Ministry of Truth.
Biden administration has just stood up. And the reason why you see this in dictatorships is because they're afraid of us. They're afraid of the people. They're afraid that we might actually think for ourselves. And so now they've created this body.
Yeah. That's what they're afraid of. They're afraid that we might think for ourselves and go, I don't know, I think the ruble's going to recover.
We'll do two things. Number one, it'll use taxpayer dollars to work through the mainstream media and flood the airwaves with whatever their propaganda narrative is that they're...
Which is not what the plan is for that organization.
Pushing it at any given time. And
at any given time, things like get vaccinated so you don't die, be careful of malware, don't click on links that you don't recognize.
Try to
that kind of propaganda.
Drown out anyone with alternate views.
How? I mean, that's an extraordinary assertion. Let me hear it.
And number two, they
this whole argument is number two.
will silence dissenting voices through intimidation.
Why would you be intimidated if you're just telling the truth, just for dissenting?
I think the thing to recognize with this, just real quick, is that this isn't something new. This is something that they have already been doing, that's happening right now. The only difference is they're formalizing it, making it official, which, if there's a silver lining in this, it is they're revealing exactly who they are.
Yes, the mask is off.
And why they're doing it, what they're...
Yes, they're doing it as a part of Department of Homeland Security, because attacks on the country on a bunch of fronts aren't just physical. And they would be irresponsible not to push back against information and asymmetrical media-oriented warfare from a hostile force, and just leave the American people open to have their feeds and their social media websites overwhelmed with bullshit bots screaming horrible things at them.
This is the kind of thing that you see in dictators.
Hold on, I moved over here. I don't want to copy the video. No, quit. Sorry.
And number two, they will silence with this, just real quick, is that this isn't something new. This is something that they have already been doing, that's happening right now. The only difference is they're formalizing it, making it official, which, if there's a silver lining in this, it is they're revealing exactly who they are and why they're doing it, what they're trying to accomplish. And it allows us, the American people, to stand up and say, hey, you know what? We're not going to let you get away with this crap.
Yeah, we're not going to let you get away with this crab. Nice. Is this the software on YouTube, or is this, or TikTok, I suppose, or wherever this is, or is this the quality of Fox's
away with this crap.
Closed captions?
We will take a stand. We will reject it, and we will throw out of office those who are continuing to push and propagate this undemocratic.
Well, it isn't undemocratic. We elected someone to protect us against a threat. That threat is genuine. They are doing their work.
Anti-free speech mission.
It's not anti-free speech, unless you're saying child porn is necessary. Watch it again. Watch it. They're already telling me to watch again. I'm being hypnotized. Every word I see makes me do what it says. There is no ministry of truth. That's just goofy. And that brings us, there's no Hunter Biden laptop. There is no ministry of truth. There is only me here every day trying to cheer you guys up and recognize that the sky is not falling, and give you a little more information about certain topics than I see being passed around. So, as best I can. And I will see you guys this afternoon at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern time, 5 o'clock Central, for, our regular 4 o'clock Mountain. For our regular show, and then that show will roll into the Trump rally. So I might have a different chair, because sitting on this stool for 4 hours gets to be a bit rough. Yes, Benny Logo, hashtag I have Hunter Biden's laptop, for fuck's sake, right? So I will see you guys later. Take care of yourself and take care of somebody else. And this will, I guarantee, this afternoon will be full of fun and silly and characters and all that kind of stuff. I have to do an update before I can bring characters onto the show again. I was going to bring them on Stuttering John's, and then I couldn't, and then everything, and it was just too much. Okay, I'll see you later. Bye.